We love us a warm cup of coffee. Welcome back. I know it's the foot of the weekend. Hopefully you're going to be snuggling up if the weather is cold with the person that you love and, of course, the coffee that you love. And Jacobs have introduced some players onto the field that are making their mark in a big way. And we're going to chat now to, I think, someone who is probably even more passionate about coffee than I am. And I never thought I would find such a person, the senior brand manager at Jacobs Coffee, very proudly representing Domain Reitenbach. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I didn't even need to offer you a cup of coffee. I think you walked in here with a cup of coffee in your hand.
Like installed in the DNA.
There are so many unique offerings within this basket, and it all starts with really good coffee. It starts with that first beautiful sip, but you've now opened up the range beautifully. So let's start with what's got you most excited about where Jacobs is right now.
Graham, I think for us, there's so many things. Like Jacobs has been around for nearly 130 years.
That's
so
crazy.
that is like standing, like that stood the test of time.
On the shoulders of giants as well, because so much has been done in this space.
100%. Yeah. And I think coffee as a category has elevated so much over the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic. There was this massive movement into coffee. And I think for us, the challenge is really how do we show up to better ourselves, and how do we keep delivering on bringing consumers something exciting and different.
And that's quite a difficult prospect because we like what we like.
100%.
And I think South Africans especially, we almost take it like personally if something changes in a product range and we're like, hang on a minute, no one asked me if I like salted caramel. Or we've obviously done a deep dive with some of the flavor variations. I love it. I'm not a sweet tooth, so I like these undertones, especially with the whole nut, the Cadbury, beautiful balance. How did you guys go about finding that true north with these flavors? How do you even, where do you begin?
Where do you begin? I think for Jacobs, we've had such a long-standing partnership with Mondelez and Cadbury. So inevitably, there was this opportunity, like, let's bring these two powerhouse brands together and bring consumers, because everyone, listen, especially in South Africa, but globally, love chocolate, love coffee. So there was a lot of extensive research and development that went into it. So from our teams globally, the Mondelez team globally. But what we found of the perfect marriage between coffee and chocolate is a mocha, traditional mocha.
For sure.
And then also looking at, in their staple, from a Cadbury side, like what is the key drivers and the key flavors that consumers really love. So the whole nut is absolutely one of the top performing chocolate slabs.
It's beautiful. Well, it's my favorite.
It's incredible. So for us, that was such a good fit and such an obvious decision. And then South Africans do love like very sweet, indulging products.
A treat.
And a treat. Absolutely.
Treat, yeah.
And the caramello chocolate in their staple was just such like a perfect tick box for us to bring a variety, but really deliver on like the sweetness, the nuttiness, and then the traditional mocha.
And all with a very robust aromatic coffee experience. And I say the word experience because I've got to really appreciate every sip. So when I take a sip, it's a TV sip, and I'm sitting on like yesterday, a beautiful trout farm in Lanseria, soaking up the moment. And I realized this is my gateway into the moment. It's become that. And it doesn't start with a taste. It starts with the smell. When you open one of the sachets. My cameraman yesterday was like, oh, like, buddy, be live here, buddy, just like slow down. But why is it so important to get that full circle right of flavor, of smell, of experience? Why is this such a powerful thing?
100%, Graham. I think you touched so beautifully on it. And I think for us, the smell and the taste essentially is not just about that, but it's being the catalyst to really get people to stop and get them outside of that like autopilot mode and really pause and have a moment and appreciate the small things that really goes around around you. And that drives it because you smell it, you taste it, and you're like, oh, wow, let's take this moment to appreciate what's around us.
And in my world, you'd be amazed. I could be sitting here, but like, for instance, about to interview the Springbok Sevens team. I'm so passionate about it. This is a moment for me.
Absolutely.
Stop.
Yeah.
Take it on board. Just
Take
appreciate where you are. And also, I think a lot of us, when we've got a fast-paced life, your rhythm kind of needs that on-off. And coffee provides us that. It just allows us to step off the conveyor belt and back onto the conveyor belt again. Can I be really, really mean here and ask you what your favorite is?
My favorite.
I don't know, it's like asking you what your favorite child is. I get that, but because the joy here is everyone can now have their favorite
100%.
Personal choice.
And which one do you essentially gravitate towards? I think for me, the Cadbury mocha, just the stock standard, because I'm not too much of a sweet tooth, but it gives you just that hint of sweetness, so it's not overpowering.
Like a grown-up hot chocolate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I definitely gravitate more towards the Cadbury mocha, but on occasion I do love indulging in the caramel every now and again, like it as a sweet treat, just a little bit more
And
sweetness.
you'll
but-
often see on the show, because I'll often be given a cup and I won't know which one it is or what it is, and then someone else will be talking and you'll just watch my face going, punctuating everything they're saying. Maybe you've been able to put your finger on it as a brand exercise, because I'm struggling to understand, and not in a negative way, the market share and the dominance of Jacobs in this space. How you've been able to find that balance of accessibility and quality, because you do stand apart, and people will go to Jacobs, even in the instant space, they'll go to Jacobs because it's
100%.
it's the rung above. How have you gotten that right? Or what is it about this brand that has allowed you to kind of occupy that almost unicorn space in the coffee market?
I think we're very proud of that, and I think just dating back to the 1800s when Jacob was essentially like we
Could just be
started
that
out-
you've
could
been
just be
around
that.
for over 100 years.
and I think, but that leans very much towards an element of trust with consumers. So you've been around, you've stood the test of time, you've shown up, you've been in staples in households for many, many years. I mean, I remember growing up, it's like the green bottle in the cupboard, and it's now as you get older, you're like, but now you start gravitating.
And now you're allowed
towards
to have it.
Absolutely. But I also think it's about the variety, and I think it's so evident that consumers are like penny pinching. But so we bring out variants of products that cater to different preferences and taste profiles, and also to their pockets.
For sure.
So really trying to show up for the consumer and be the brand that's not just about driving the bottom line, but listening and taking in what consumers need and want from a taste perspective and also from a pricing perspective. So innovation, being around for so long, and just really good quality coffee without compromise.
Without compromise on any way that you look at this, because you do still get the quality, and I will spend a little bit more on coffee that warrants it. But I love the fact that you've figured it out. If the coffee is good, if the consumer is happy, the money will come. It doesn't work the other way round.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you on behalf of the 20,000 cups of Jacobs coffee that I very, very happily had on live TV. Thank you for going to the degree that you do to, as you said, and I love that, show up for your customer.
Yes.
You show up for us every day. I'm going to cheers you.
Thank you so much.
And I think this is echoed by coffee drinkers, whether you're a coffee snob, whether you're a coffee addict like me, or just someone who, yes, needs that kickstart at the start of the day. There is a flavor variation. There is a style of coffee that will speak to your soul and your flavor palette. That's how much we love our coffee. So go take a moment today to appreciate everything that's going on around you. And if you're struggling, well, just have a sip and a smell.
Find your wonderful. Jacobs, wunderbar.